It might very well be a miracle.
It's going to be a blessing. Yeah, we just got done with the show. I couldn't talk. What happened? Something happened with you.
I wanted to be you. I was reading Kari's lines on the show, and then when it was my turn, I wasn't reading mine. So let's hope we can make it through this. We promise it'll be good.
This is going to be way better. It's going to be way better. Okay, so I don't know if anyone has seen this trend. So there's a lot of trends that happen on TikTok, right? Yeah. Have you seen this one? And just the name of it gives me like the heebie-jeebies. So it's called bed rotting.
Ew, is this something like really gross? Because sometimes I see trends on TikTok and I think to myself, why? Why are we doing this? Why is this a thing?
Well, I thought the same thing. So the name is actually a lot more gross than what it is. So let me explain what it is. So it's Gen Z.
See, we told you people.
This is going to be rough. Gen Z's newest self-care trend explained. So bed rotting. It's a new trend sweeping TikTok involving staying in bed for extended periods of time. So not to sleep. So you're not like staying in your bed to sleep. This is to do passive activities. This is to like binge shows. This is to talk on the phone, scroll social media. Experts agree that it's important to indulge in self-care. This is what they're saying about it, to manage stress and boost energy. Self-care is so important for one's physical and mental health, but lounging in bed all day, is it the healthiest way to give yourself some TLC? So these are what the experts are saying are the downsides to this.
Yeah.
This trend has faced criticism from the wellness community as well as doctors, especially for people dealing with depression or anxiety. It can worsen overall health by increasing the risk of obesity and cardiovascular disease. Once again, we are not doctors. This is what a psychiatrist is saying. Right. But influencers see it as a form of self-care, but experts are basically saying it's typical of someone who maybe can be depressed, and by labeling it, people with depressive symptoms may be finding solace by connecting with others experiencing it at the same time. They said being bedridden in a dark room for extensive periods of time could trigger feelings of loneliness and anxiety, interfere with sleep, cause deconditioning, lead to weight gain, and increase risk of blood clots. This is what the experts are saying. What do you think?
I have many thoughts. One, I think obviously self-care is very important. I think, but there is a line with self-care when if you are hurting yourself or someone else, you need to be careful. You can't just do everything in the name of self-care. And I'm not an expert by any means, but I also know, as someone, I'm very honest about this, we've talked about it in many different podcast episodes, as someone who has anxiety, and if my anxiety kind of spirals out of control, I go into depressive states. Doing something like this would amp that up.
Oh, it would make it worse for me too.
That is for me personally. And I also know my bedroom has to be a place of like solace. So if I'm in there and I'm using my bedroom, as a place that's where I scroll on my phone, that's where I'm watching TV, it's not a place where I sleep. And I know lots of people who have a hard time sleeping. I've heard experts say that your bedroom should just be for that, period. I read that's not Elora saying that. I read that by some psychiatrist. So I can see a lot of issues with this. I can see young kids being like, well, it's self-care. And it's kind of like, well, where's the line? Are you taking care of it? Because if you're scrolling on social media all day, that's going to be a problem. That would mess with my mind personally. I mean, I can't tell other people what to do, and I shouldn't do that. But for me personally, it would mess with me mentally so badly. Have I binge watched shows? Absolutely I have. Who hasn't? But if this becomes a habit or a trend in your life, I don't know.
That's exactly what you just mentioned, a habit. That's exactly what this psychologist said too. In small doses, she said, it can calm the body and help ease stress and exhaustion, especially for people working long hours in a physically or mentally demanding role, as long as it doesn't become a habit. My personal opinion is, listen to your body, listen to your own mental health and what's best for you. I know if I did this, I know I'm not going to feel great. I know maybe if I laid down for an hour and I just needed to chill, if I had a bad day or something happened and I needed like an hour just to relax, that may be good for me. But like an extended all day, unless you're sick. Maybe if you're sick, I could see if you're just like, I can't even get out of bed. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I should backtrack. I talked about this. My current obsession is I've been reading lots of Sarah J. Maas books lately, and I will sit in my bed and just dive into them. And sometimes I'll look over and I'm like, oh, it's been a couple hours. I've been reading for a really long time.
And how do you feel after that? I'm just interested. Are you relaxed? Are you energized? Are you calm?
I'm actually pretty calm, but I think it's different because my brain is actually doing something.
You're reading. You're not
I'm reading.
like on social media. Yeah.
Which I have. I mean, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. If you start that mindless scroll, you are literally like an hour plus later, like, what have I been doing?
Yeah. It's a time suck, right?
Yeah.
Like you just get sucked into like a black hole of, oh, it's 6 hours later and I've been scrolling and you don't feel good.
Yeah.
I've
No,
never one time felt good after scrolling for a long period of time on social media. Not one time.
I've always been shocked with myself. Like, what have I been doing? And I will say there is something about being in bed, like cozy, watching a movie, and like, oh, this is so much fun. But if you spend every single day watching 5 movies a day, I think for me personally, again, this is me personally, everyone is different. For me personally, my mental health would be horrific.
Yeah, I don't think it would be great for me either. I think about, and I do suffer from depression, and I think, yes, does my mind and my body want to do that sometimes? Sure. Like, I just want to close the door, forget the world.
Because it's easy.
It's easy to do, but I have to force myself. Like, nope, you got to get up, because at the end of the day, if I spend 8 hours just scrolling and binging and doing all this, I'm not going to feel great. So I think basically the lesson here is, like, listen to your own body, listen to your own mental health, do what's best for you. We read what the experts are saying, from the benefits to the downsides of it, and that is the trend.
There you
Bed
go. Well,
rotting.
Bed rotting.
I just hate that name. I just think it's
when
the
you
worst.
say that to me, I imagine lots of pumpkins rotting in someone's bedroom. That's a very interesting visual, but that's what I saw.
Yeah.
So
just
anyway,
not for me.
Moving on from that trend, well, maybe this trend, for those of you out there, is or isn't for you. So AI influencers are making millions.
I saw this the other day.
So in this article, there have been a couple of influencers that a lot of people thought they were real people. And then it came out and it was said, no, these are not real people. They are AI, but they are making this article that I read. This is from England, so I don't know how this translates. They can rake in as much as 8,000 pounds per post, these fake people.
Oh my gosh.
So the AI, all of it, the world of virtual influencers is what they're calling it, is already estimated to be worth about 3.5 billion pounds. And it is projected to grow by 26% in 2025. And these profiles are so realistic that so many people are actually convinced they were humans. And
you have so much Photoshop now, and you have so many apps and, filters that sometimes I could see that too.
So these people who are creating these influencers are the ones making money, because obviously these influencers are fake. One of the creators says this about it, and tell me what you think, Kari. The reason that they say these fake influencers are so popular is because they are not confined by human limitations. They can be in multiple places at once, speak any language, perform incredible feats, and can even undergo a total redesign. This offers boundless creative potential for brand storytelling, marketing, and audience engagement. And like I said, that is from a founder of a global influencer marketing company. And that is what he said. So it gives a high level of control with messaging. So some people are saying this is just the new thing. It will die. It will fade. Some people are really scared. Some people are some influencers are thinking, is my job being lost? And some people are thinking, well, is my sanity being lost?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kari? Yay, nay?
Absolute nay. It scares me so much, because not only are you hearing about it in the influencer world, but you're hearing about it in other jobs and things, that these things are going to take over. I'm really nervous for my daughter, who is 6, and what she's going to grow up, the world she's going to grow up in, for many reasons. I just get anxiety about it, but especially in this, because it's not human.
No.
Right? So you have, so let's talk about maybe with Instagram and all these social media sites and influencers. So this thing that you're creating is not human. So you have these levels of expectations that are not attainable because it's not a human being and it's not a real body. So it's even worse when we try to fight that battle every day with real human beings and body image, and you just comparing yourself to these basically fake dolls, you know? So I think it's just, the whole thing just freaks me out. I think it's so scary. I hope it doesn't become a thing. So I get so worried.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I follow a couple of accounts because, I mean, I hope I'm not the only one out there. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about this. I have to follow a couple of accounts that kind of show how certain maybe magazines or something shoot their models and edit them. So these accounts are basically like, what you're seeing in a lot of these places are fake. This is how they do it. You cannot expect yourself to look this way and that way because how you are right now is good enough, and this is fake. This is fake. This is not real. So I feel like in the past 5 years, so many influencers, content creators, whatever you want to call them, because they were bloggers, then influencers, now they're content creators, have tried to be relatable, have tried to be like, hey, you're like me. We all, no matter what you look like, this is amazing. And that's true because we're all different, and that's what makes us all so amazing. And now we have these, like you said, these fake dolls that are essentially like, well, this is the perfect body. This is how many languages you need to speak. This is what you need to have, this. And then companies are like, yeah, we want that, not these real people who deal with daily things, who deal with daily struggles, who maybe aren't perfect, who, you know, and I feel like we're taking a step back from
Totally
feeling comfortable in showing our real selves. And that's what's dangerous to me is, I mean, some people are like, oh, robots are going to take over the world. And I'm really nice to my Siri just in case that happens. I always say thank you.
But haven't we seen enough movies to see how this turns out? It's
just, to me, it's not even that. It's just very much, it breaks my heart that who people are, it's basically saying, you're not enough, we need a robot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just don't think that's true because like I said, I think one of the most amazing things about this world is how different we all are, from the way we look to what we believe, everything in between. We're all so different, and that's so amazing. And by creating these things, I feel like we're taking that away.
Yeah, and it's in every industry. I think they're talking about, like, if you're in sales, if you're a cashier, if you're that it's gonna maybe just be everywhere. So I hope that somehow this ends. I don't know how, but I will help. What can I do? What can we do?
I have people that I don't know really well that will come up and talk to me about this show. And I went to an event the other day that my husband sang at, and I had 2 people at the event be like, so talk to me about AI.
Oh.
Like, is that affecting your job?
Oh.
And
I mean, you never know.
I was like, well, you can see me. I exist.
We're human. I'm definitely flawed.
I mean, I came in with stains on my dress today. I had to still one of Brooke's dresses. She's not here. I did ask. I mean, I've skipped words today. You can very much tell.
We can do hard things, people. We can do hard things. Okay, so moving on. Maybe we need a little more confidence right now after talking about all that. What do you think?
I mean, I can take any of that I can get.
How do you find confidence? Let me talk about maybe first. So Mel Robbins is someone I listen to.
She's so great.
She is so inspirational. She says this. She says, confidence isn't the absence of self-doubt. It's being willing to try even though you doubt yourself. Confidence is how you grow one small courageous move at a time, just little things at a time. So how do you find confidence, and what do you think the definition is for you?
That's such a heavy question. I don't know why I'm so emotional today. Jeez Louise.
It's fine. We're flawed, see? We're human. We are not AI.
I'm sure AI cries, but when someone tells them to. But I had a really hard time with confidence growing up. I look back to junior high, and you could not pay me enough to relive some of those years just because of what was going on in my head. I didn't know I had anxiety, just different things. And so I always thought that confidence was that I was never, what you said, I always thought confidence was you never doubted yourself. you always, thought the highest praise of yourself, which is important. But as I got older, I realized that confidence was almost being okay with yourself in your imperfect moments. Realizing that you're not perfect, realizing that you're going to make mistakes, but being okay with that and being okay with who you are while still working to be better.
That's good.
And it has taken me years and years because I will be completely honest, my confidence, it has been a struggle most of my life. Whether it comes to my talents, my looks, different things, and I know a lot of that comes from my anxiety, but I had a really hard time, really hard time. And, through some therapy and I have a great support system. I finally came to that conclusion on how I define it. And some days are really hard. Some days that confidence is at like if you turn the knob, it's like at 0. But for me, it's about just keeping that definition in my head.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful.
For you, Care, sometimes I remember when I started working, first of all, you were the nicest human to me in the world. It was nice to have a friend that wanted to see me succeed. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
But you carry yourself like the most confident person I know. So I don't know. I want to know how you do it.
Well, it's a lot of faking it. Trust me. Because I kind of, with you, I grew up really struggling with my confidence. I was bullied a lot.
Who?
We're going to go get
I was like,
them right now.
My friends call it, I am a very happy and bubbly person, but if someone hurts someone I love or there is a bully, I go Hawk Elora.
That's what I love about you. You're super loyal. I was definitely bullied a lot. And that it's crazy because I started just as I was telling everyone that to get emotional talking about it because it affects you for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so over the years, I know I've struggled with confidence. And the last few years I've been able to, I think through my daughter and trying to be an example for her, I've come up with what it feels like confidence is for me. And it's really hard to if you're walking into a room and speaking in front of people or doing something hard to just go, I'm going to get the confidence and I'm just going to go and I'm just going to do it. Right.
Right.
Sometimes impossible. And so what I do is I try to have courage first. And I think after that builds into confidence. So I think just have the courage to try, just take that step. And then eventually those little steps, like Mel Robbins talks about, one small courageous step at a time turns into confidence. So I think it's almost like just having that courage, okay, I'm just going to be brave here and have a moment. And I have them all of the time still as a grown woman. And I just think if you're just kind to yourself and know that everybody struggles, most people. Yeah. And
everybody does. AI influencers don't, but they are not people.
They are not human beings. We are flawed. And I'll take me over an AI any day.
I would too. And I think I love what you said, Kari. Love it. Especially because there's that famous quote where courage is not the absence of fear. So you can still be scared, but be brave to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's this one more quote I found from Mel Robbins, which is good. She says, confidence is a skill that you practice. It's a willingness to try when you're full of doubt. Confidence is the habit of pushing past your fears, your procrastination, your perfectionism, your excuses. I thought that was so good. Just push past it. And if it's, for me, it's so hard to just immediately I'm going to have the confidence to do this. It's really hard. So I just try to be courageous first. Just try to have a little bit of courage first.
I love it. And I mean, as Brene Brown says, I'm a recovering perfectionist and I'm working on being a good enougghist because perfection, striving for that is why my confidence was so low. But I love that. Well, speaking of things that we love, we do this on every single podcast. We talk about what our latest obsession is, what we are loving, what we're obsessed with. As I just said, now I've said the word obsessed 7 times? Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Carrie, what are you obsessed with right now?
Well, I try to think of this to try to be fresh and new every week. And I talked about the zombie movie thing. I'm still doing that. I'm still on that kick.
I love that. The best part about that podcast was that Carrie imitated a zombie sound. And if you all missed that, you got to go back.
It's human. It's me being human and impersonating a zombie. But I, right now, am really obsessed with spicy food. I can't get enough. And it's so funny because my daughter, who is 6, also loves spicy food. I would have never in my life when I was a kid, loved spicy food. So we've been eating these sun chips that I talked about once that are these chili lime. And she stole the bag and ran away with it. She's also obsessing. So in our family, we're obsessing with anything spicy, chips, tacos, dips. Give me all of it. I'm loving it.
I feel like that's a very summer thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think that. Because the weather is spicy, so your taste buds are spicy.
Sure. Why not?
No. We're going to go with no. That's not a thing.
The sun is spicy. Your salsa should be spicy.
If the sun is spicy, so's your salsa. All right, we're going to move on.
What are you obsessed with?
Honestly, lately, I have been so obsessed with going back to movie theaters. Because I feel like after COVID, movie theaters were just not a thing. We didn't do that anymore.
I was so worried about them.
Yeah, if it wasn't streaming, then you didn't see it. Mm-hmm. And I have seen several movies this summer, and being in the movie theaters, again, because even after things started reopening, movie theaters were so slow. It was like a ghost town. And I have loved this summer going back, seeing different movies, going in, smelling the popcorn, seeing the previews. I don't know. Sometimes when I watch the previews, they're so long, I forget what I'm there to see. And I'm like, wait, what am I here for?
Involved in the previews. I get it, though. It's like a whole nother, I escape. It's a good escape, right? To go and just, and there's been a lot of fun movies that have come out or are continuing to come out this summer.
I've just loved it. I love it. And I remember when I was dating my husband, he told me, he was sharing my favorite movies with people is almost a love language because he loves the story so much.
Our husbands are the exact same people. I feel like they are twins. That's Nick's same thing.
Are you serious?
Oh my gosh. He'd before we were even dating, he'd give me DVDs and things and wanted to share all of his, yes.
Yeah,
so yes.
And that's exactly how David is. And so going to these movies together and experiencing them together, I'm like, this is, well, really one of his love languages, quality time. And so doing that and just enjoying movies, which he loves so much, going scheduling with your family and friends to go catch a movie. It's what I've been obsessed with lately. And I just keep thinking, I'm so happy this is back because summertime used to be huge for movies. That's when all the Avenger movies came out, all the things.
It's back.
So
and the theaters are full, and I'm so happy they survived.
We love it.
We love it. Well, maybe let's go to a movie with some spicy food. Is it a date?
Yeah, it absolutely is a date.
Okay, let's go. I love it. It's been so much fun, Elora.
I love this. We made it through. I was a little worried after the show today if we were going to make it through, but you know what? We did it.
Now we can go take a nap.
All right. Well, not bed rotting. It would be a quick nap.
Just a quick nap.
We're not going to rot in our bed.
No, we're